From the moment Juan opened his eyes each morning, the narrow streets of Manila reminded him of the life he was born into. One without promises, without shortcuts, and without any sign that the world had saved a place for someone like him. His family lived in a small shanty, near the railroad tracks, where every passing train made the walls tremble, as if warning them that life could collapse at any moment. His mother sold street food to survive, and his father, who once dreamed of becoming a musician, worked odd jobs that paid barely enough to keep rice on the table. Yet even in this environment of noise, heat and struggle, there was something different about Juan. While other kids played in the streets, he sang. He sang while helping his mother prepare food, while washing dishes by the pump, while walking to school barefoot. Music was the single place where his heart felt free. Every note seemed to lift him away from the chaos. Around him, his father, despite exhaustion, always listened quietly, eyes soft as if hearing in his son the dream he never achieved himself. One night during a brownout, as the whole neighborhood sat in darkness, Juan's voice echoed through the alleys as he sang, with nothing but the moonlight on his face. People stepped out of their homes just to listen. When he finished, someone whispered, "This boy doesn't belong here. His voice belongs to the world." Those words stayed with him, burning deep inside, like a promise he wasn't sure he deserved to chase. For years, Juan sang anywhere he could, fiestas, small events, sometimes even on public buses, where passengers dropped coins into his little pouch. Some days he earned enough to buy a loaf of bread. Other days he went home with nothing but tired legs, and the hope that tomorrow might be kinder. His parents encouraged him, but they knew dreams were expensive. Still, his father would save a few pesos whenever he could, hiding them inside an old harmonica case. "For your future," he would say, tapping it gently. That harmonica was the one thing he had kept from his youth, and giving it to Juan felt like passing a torch. One afternoon, a foreign tourist recorded Juan singing in Luneta Park and posted it online. The video spread like wildfire. Within days, it reached millions of views, catching the attention of someone who sent an unexpected message to Juan's family, a representative from America's Got Talent. At first, the family thought it was a scam. Why would a global show look for a boy from the slums of Manila? But after confirming the message's authenticity, they learned that AGT wanted to offer Juan a chance to audition. His mother cried silently, unable to wrap her mind around what this meant, while his father placed both hands on Juan's shoulders and said, "You will go, you will sing, and you will show them your heart." But dreams come with obstacles. They had no money for passports, visas, or airfare. Then, as if fate refused to let the opportunity slip, the online community organized a fundraising effort. Filipinos from around the world, OFWS students, strangers who had never met him, joined forces. In less than a week, enough funds were raised. For the first time in his life, Juan boarded an airplane, taking with him nothing but a small backpack, his father's harmonica, and a hope too big for his chest to contain. When Juan stepped onto the AGT stage, the lights blinded him for a moment. The judges' table felt unreal, like something that only existed on television screens. Back home, the crowd murmured, whispering about the small boy with worn shoes, unsure of what to expect. Simon Cowell looked at him, with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism, as he often did with contestants who looked fragile, shy, or uncertain. "What's your name?" he asked. "My name is Juan," he answered softly. "And where are you from?" "I'm from Manila, Philippines." The audience erupted with cheers, Upon hearing his origins, but Juan's hands trembled. He had never seen so many eyes staring at him at once. "Why are you here today?" Simon asked. Juan swallowed hard, his voice cracking as he said, "To help my family and to share my music." It wasn't a rehearsed answer, just the truth when the music began. He closed his eyes and remembered the nights he sang, under the Manila moon, the mornings, waking to the rumble of trains and every hardship that had carved strength into his young soul. His first note cut through the silence. Like a revelation, it was raw, powerful, trembling with emotion. A voice shaped not by lessons or training, but by survival. The audience leaned in. Mothers in the crowd covered their mouths. Some people already had tears forming, even before he reached the chorus. And Simon Cowell, known for his harsh critiques, sat still, transfixed, as if trying to process how such a sound could come from such a fragile-looking boy. As one continued, the emotion in his voice deepened. Every lyric carried the weight of years of struggle, poverty, love, and sacrifice. He wasn't just singing a song. He was opening a window into his life. When he reached the final high note, he stretched it with everything he had left, pouring out all the pain he'd been carrying. Since childhood, the theater exploded into applause before he even finished. People stood on their feet screaming, clapping, cheering. The judges sat in stunned silence. Unable to speak, Wong lowered the microphone, breathing shakily, eyes wide in disbelief at what he had just done. Then Simon Cowell leaned back, slowly looking at Juan as though seeing someone who had just rewritten the meaning of an audition. Without saying a single word, Simon stood up. The crowd knew what was coming. But Juan didn't. His heart pounded. He clutched the harmonica in his pocket, hoping his father could somehow feel this moment from across the ocean. Simon placed his hands on the golden buzzer with a kind of reverence, as if recognizing the gravity of the moment. And then he slammed it. The golden confetti erupted like a storm of dreams, finally breaking free. The entire theater shook with cheers. One froze in place, his mouth open, eyes filling with tears he couldn't hold back. Years of hunger, sacrifice, humiliation, and effort surged through him all at once. He felt like that same little boy, singing during a brownout in Manila, except now the whole world was finally hearing him. Simon walked onto the stage, something he did only when he truly believed in someone. He knelt beside Juan and said, "You have a gift that comes once in a generation. You didn't just sing, you told a story. And I am honored to be the one to push you forward." The other judges came to congratulate him, but Juan barely registered their words. He kept thinking of his mother back home, probably selling snacks at that very moment, unaware that her son had just changed their lives. He imagined his father opening the harmonica case and seeing the empty spot where the little savings had been, knowing now that the sacrifice had not been wasted. As the confetti continued to fall, Juan whispered, "This is for you. Mama and Papa, this is for Manila." After the show, Juan sat backstage, still overwhelmed, struggling to understand how everything had happened so quickly. Reporters rushed to him asking questions about his life, his family, his dreams. He answered humbly, always crediting his parents and the Filipino community that had lifted him up. Videos of his audition spread instantly online, hitting millions of views in hours. Comments flooded social media, Filipinos around the world claiming him as their own. Americans stunned by his voice, and people from dozens of countries celebrating his courage. Meanwhile, in Manila, his family watched the audition through a borrowed phone. When Simon hit the golden buzzer, Wong's mother fell to her knees, sobbing. His father covered his face with both hands, shaking as he whispered, "That's my son." Neighbors gathered around, shouting with joy, some crying even louder than the family. Their small home, once filled with uncertainty, now overflowed with hope. Back in the U.S., the AGT team arranged better accommodations for Juan, ensuring he had everything he needed for the next stages of the competition. Despite the sudden fame, he remained grounded. Every night he spoke to his parents through video calls, promising them he would work even harder. "I'm not doing this to be famous." He told them, "I'm doing this so we never have to go back to the life we came from." In the days that followed, Juan trained relentlessly. Vocal coaches, choreographers, and mentors all recognized his natural talent, but also noted something rare. His voice carried emotion that couldn't be taught. They encouraged him to stay authentic, to keep singing from the same place of truth that had touched millions. During rehearsals, he would close his eyes and imagine the narrow streets of Manila, the sound of vendors calling out prices, the rattling trains, the warm laughter of neighbors who were family, even in poverty. Those memories became his strength. The AGT staff noticed how polite and humble he remained. Despite the attention, even other contestants admired him. Some said he had the aura of someone destined for something bigger. But Juan didn't let it get to his head. He always returned to a quiet corner, with his father's harmonica, holding it like a talisman. "I'm still that same boy," he would remind himself. And he was, even as the world began to celebrate him. His heart remained rooted in the soil of Manila, grounded, grateful, unshaken by fame,